This could be the ultimate wearable. Planes that feel, not people wearing different types of devices or clothing that lets you feel the outer world. This is actually plane with skin. Here to tell us all about it is Allison Barrie, defense specialist, war games columnist. It's FoxNews.com. You've seen her on the show many times and seen many articles on FoxNews.com about technology and military and how it maybe affects us in the real world. Allison, I got to tell you, this is a bit interesting. Why would we care about whether a plane can feel?
Great question. I imagine a world where machines could feel. I don't know if you've caught that show Extant on CBS, Adam. It's about AI, a small child who's built with AI who has skin that could feel. So, you know, in that sense, you could see an AI application. We have lots of movies moving that space. But that's a great question. Why would the military want machines that could feel? And the answer to that is, let's just assume this smart skin made by BAE Systems was applied to combat aircraft. The skin would be able to feel its environment around it. So we're talking about airflow, we're talking about temperature, lots and lots of different things, and feed that information instantaneously to the pilot and back down to the base. And also just think about, like, if you get a paper cut, right? It's like, ouch, you notice it, you know exactly where the paper cut is. A plane would be able to react, or a tank, or a vessel would be able to react exactly the same way. It would react like, ouch, it would notice that there was an injury and send that data exactly back to the exact sort of location and the extent of the injury back to the pilot and to the base. So that when that aircraft lands, the engineers can go straight in there and pinpoint the problem and get that aircraft back up in the air.
Is there a public or human application for this? I mean, obviously, I can see why that'd be beneficial for tanks or airplanes and the ability to get it fixed and back into service quickly. But, I mean, where does this go? Is this strictly just a military application, or is there other applications out there that this could potentially be seen?
Yeah, there's loads and loads of civilian applications, and you've got a better imagination than I do, so I'm sure you can think of some really cool ones off the top of your head. But you can imagine a world where, say, the cars that we drive are immediately sensing their environment around them. So it's all these sensors are sensing, say, perhaps air quality. Is there pollution in the air? Do you have allergies? Maybe it's sensing whether it's high hay fever season. It's providing all that data to you while you're driving along, passing through neighborhood to neighborhood. There's lots of, we see the smart stuff in daily life, right, Adam? In fact, I understand BAE Systems explained that the woman who came up with this fantastic idea, this smart skin, was inspired by doing her laundry, and she noticed that her dryer reacted. It noticed, it sensed with sensors inside, it sensed when the laundry was actually dry, so it didn't keep tumbling and keep using up electricity. It knew when the clothes were dry, and it shut itself off.
You know, I think what's interesting for a lot of people is the fact that we're getting more and more of these kind of, I say wearables, this is machine wearables, really, and they're becoming obviously more common. How far along are they on this? Is this just still in testing, BAE? Have they put this into use yet? I mean, is this something we're talking about 10 years down the road, or are we talking about 10 months down the road?
This is future combat stuff. So, sometimes I like to bring you stuff that's really future forward leaning and talk about it and get that conversation started early. And this is one of those future ones. So we're not going to be seeing it on airplanes tomorrow. But I do think this is a very viable future for us. And it certainly would give a very significant edge in the battle space if militaries had this sort of technology. Because if you think about it, it could be not just applied to aircraft, but any of the vehicles, any of the platforms that we're using in the battle space. And that ability for machines to feel and react and relay information instantaneously could provide a really great edge and also open up complex mission profiles. So I think there's a lot of potential here, both in the military space and in the civilian space.
Last question for you. Again, people can see more on this online, of course, but my last kind of specific question is, when you say human skin, I mean, is it really going to be like that? Are we talking about kind of a cloth or aircraft type of wrapping, so to speak, that can be really filled with sensors, is what we're talking about here?
Yes. So it's one of the fantastic things about this technology is there's so many imaginative out-of-the-box aspects to it, and one of it is that they envisage that this skin would actually be applied like a spray, like a paint spray. Like if you're spray painting something, you could apply it to an aircraft or to a vessel as a spray. So if you imagine you're encasing it, encapsulating the aircraft with a paint-like substance that's got thousands and thousands of these tiny, tiny sensors, and it's such a technological feat, as you would know, Adam, taking these very complex advanced sensors and making them so tiny to the size of a single grain of rice, or even the size of a dust particle. That's how tiny these sensors are, and that's extraordinary feat of technology. They're getting such complex devices into such a tiny level that you could actually spray it like spray paint. So it's hugely exciting. There's lots and lots of applications of ways this could go.
Sounds good. Allison Barrie, a defense specialist, war games columnist for FoxNews.com. You can find out more and get more in depth about this human-like skin that the military could be using in the coming years to sense problems with their aircraft and vehicles. It's online right now at FoxNews.com. Allison, in Los Angeles this week, we thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
All right, I'm Adam Housley in Los Angeles, and you're watching Tech Take.